Hi guys, welcome to Counterpoints. My name is Connor, and today we're going to be breaking down why everyone backstabs Destiny. I want to talk about why popular streamer Destiny has left a wake of destroyed relationships in his path, and even in our negative interactions over the Twitter files, why I was tempted to, but ultimately didn't go scorched earth against him. I think my personal experience can lend insight into the pattern of Orbiter, internet friend, and then sworn enemy, both by using Destiny's lore and my own personal experience. I was one of the first people to tell Mr. Girl when he launched his holy war against Destiny that this is just the dynamic of the political debate space on Twitch and YouTube politics, and when you enter the arena, you risk getting your ass digitally stomped. But I think understanding that logically and experiencing it personally are two completely different things. So for context, Destiny is a large political debate streamer who is happy to speak with smaller creators in one-on-one debates or panels, and he is best known for being an absolute monster rhetorician. Even in debates where people want him to lose, he performs relatively well because he can typically ground his arguments, build a logic chain, control the flow of conversation, and return to strong points in his argument while being tenacious with the weaker points of his opponents. As a viewer, it's viscerally enjoyable to watch him take down people you dislike, and it's weirdly even more fun when he fights a perspective you agree with. Destiny often comes up with arguments or rhetorical strategies that disarm his opponents, which forces you either to shore up your perspective in your head logically or rhetorically. This has earned Destiny a cult following, with him playing video games without talking to anyone, to a few thousand people waiting, but when he is fighting a popular opponent on a current affair, his streams will climb to 15,000 plus live viewers, and the videos of the debates posted to YouTube will get hundreds of thousands of views. Destiny also has a humble origin story, being the smartass black sheep nerd of his conservative home, emotionally neglected as a teenager, a minimum wage cage slave who found his talent for gaming and shit-talking and leveraged that into a decades-long multi-million-dollar career. For people who are underemployed, underappreciated, and who view themselves as intelligent, he is the perfect cult hero for their secret desires and ambitions. Not just that, but he has a rock and roll lifestyle. As an atheist, nihilist hedonist, Destiny is married to a beautiful Swedish streamer with whom he has an open marriage. While many people call him a cuck for allowing his wife to sleep with other men, he is often chastised by his wife, friends, and exes for being a sex fiend who has a black book of female friends willing to hook up with him publicly or even carry on private relationships on the hush-hush. So regardless of personal drama, aggressive debates, or personal conduct, Destiny will likely always be attractive to people who want to compete at the highest levels of internet debate and will likely have a fandom as long as he has a functional brain. Which brings us to the dynamics of orbiting. Destiny has a built-in audience of tens of thousands of live viewers and a few 100,000 fans and anti-fans, which means if you start debating him regularly, you will benefit in a variety of ways. 1. Destiny is an intelligent person with a lot of clout, so if you perform well, you will automatically be taken more seriously. 2. Destiny has fans who need someone to watch when he isn't live, so if you say something interesting or cool that clicks with a fan, they might follow your digital career and watch your stream or YouTube videos. 3. Destiny has a horde of anti-fans, so if you disagree with Destiny, even if you don't acquit yourself well, some of his haters will follow and support you as a reaction against Destiny. 4. It is exciting to be taken seriously by someone who is already successful in a niche career that is difficult to do, so you'll get an ego boost. 5. It is even more exciting if you get a bump in viewership because you acquit yourself well and are viewed as an up-and-comer who one day could be the size, relevance, and strength of Destiny. 6. Other people have been down this path before, and as a result of their interactions with Destiny, they leverage that name recognition into more and more relationships, resulting in a career as a streamer, a highly desirable job in our digital and parasocial age. Imagine waking up when you want to, working out, eating breakfast, firing up your web camera, and hundreds or thousands of people tune in to see what you have to say. And not just that, but just by arguing your passions in life, you can become a millionaire. You don't have to work a day job anymore, all your financial anxieties disappear, and your social and sexual opportunities explode as deep or as shallow as you choose them to be. This is a fantasy for most people, and Destiny already lives that fantasy, and you, the parasocial internet schizoid, can be in a room with him. If you hate him, you can yell at him, and if you love him, you can back him up in a debate. Or if you're ambitious, you can leverage that connection into a career. This is the attraction for Destiny orbiters. Now, the main relationships that have blown up or imploded on stream that I'm aware of are Bad Bunny, Mike from PA, Hassan Piker, Trihex, Vaush, Booksmarts, Anna Frills, Lavloon, and Mr. Girl. I think I can summarize these relationships quickly and then show you what they share in common, as well as how I experienced my own negative interaction. Bad Bunny was a reactionary streamer, most known for yelling at her chat for not giving her money and for saying that she found black bisexual men gross. Destiny and her had a sexual relationship, largely because Destiny was attracted to how mean she was, and he tried to push her on her reactionary, knee-jerk, anti-social justice warrior takes. Likely because of her relationship with Destiny, along with the backlash she received for using slurs and having racist views live streamed to the world, Bad Bunny became a rabid progressive leftist, pretty much reversing every single one of her previous takes and becoming an ardent anti-moderate. This has earned her a niche in what many people would describe as woke-skulled progressive Twitch politics. Destiny and her falling out was partially because of interpersonal shit-talking, but also because Destiny was insufficiently extreme in his leftism, making him a weak, wussy, moderate liberal. They have often swiped at each other on Twitter and streams, but Bad Bunny has disengaged with Destiny because of the visceral disagreements, along with DGG, Destiny's community, being mean to her in Twitch chat, Reddit, and Twitter. Mike from PA was raised by Republican parents and ran for a local seat, claiming he worked as a lawyer as part of his qualifications despite not passing the bar. He was sanctioned for that mistake, but took his electoral experience and used his academic background as leverage to pick fights with Destiny and try to outflank him from an even more left perspective. Despite being uncharitable, unlikable, and rude, the metrics were through the roof for these conversations. This was largely because neither one of them backed down. I genuinely dislike Mike from PA so much, I don't even know if he had good points, and if it was just my bias making me like Destiny more. Either way, after a certain point, Destiny openly said he would stop engaging with Mike because it was boosting Mike's profile, he was a bad faith debater, and he was such a smarmy, unlikable douche, it wasn't worth it. A major blow-up in the wake of that decision was Destiny looking up Mike from PA's electoral attempt and revealing his personal information. Mike and some of his orbiters accused Destiny of doxing, despite the fact that Mike used his public run as an accolade and linked his social media to other social media with his full name and location. Ultimately, the accusers and Mike had to tuck their tails between their legs and walk away. Destiny cut his debate chops debating right-wingers and making them look foolish, so it was only natural that he attracted a left-leaning audience. Destiny will likely always have a liberal and progressive following because of his personal politics and lifestyle, but he also attracted leftist fans. Leftists being definitionally separate from left-wingers in that the term leftist only refers to socialists and communists. Destiny played nice with this community for a while, but whenever he punched left, he would enrage a healthy chunk of his audience. There are two people who attracted and drew away the hard left members of Destiny's audience, the first one being Hassan Piker. Hassan is currently the largest political streamer in the Western world, and he started as a Destiny orbiter. Hassan already had some credentials as a Young Turks pundit, making early viral YouTube content for them. That being said, he wanted to branch out into an independent venture. Hassan and Destiny bonded at first, with Destiny propping up Hassan's channel, consulting on tech support, and hanging out in real life. They routinely referred to each other as friends, but this wasn't to last. First, Destiny and Hassan had a debate over whether or not Kamala Harris was a police officer and a moral monster. Destiny mauled Hassan, leading to bad blood. Secondly, Hassan confronted Destiny on a panel over his private use of the N-word and added to a dog pile. This led to an interpersonal blowout and Hassan reaching out to the creator Trihex. Trihex, a black creator and podcast partner with Destiny, was confronted by Hassan and grilled for his tolerance of Destiny's alleged racism. Trihex and Destiny had an emotional stream where Trihex tried to go over the principles of the matter, but one thing about Destiny is when he believes he's correct, he doesn't back down from a fight, and emotional leverage makes him double down even harder. Since that time, Trihex and Destiny have mended their relationship, but they don't collaborate anymore, and the bridge is solidly burnt between Destiny and Hassan. Vaush is a talented leftist debater who came up in Destiny's community. Vaush uses consequentialist political motivations to guide his rhetoric, leading to logical issues that conflict with real-world and moral processes. This led to debate blow-ups over the Kyle Rittenhouse shooting and how leftists spend their money, in which Destiny aggressively pursued Vaush on contradictions, logical gaps, and hypocrisy, despite their friendly peer relationship. Destiny's aggression soured that relationship, and Vaush swore off engaging with him. Vaush's community calls Destiny an aggressive, socially retarded debate bro with a hate boner, and Destiny's community calls Vaush a consequentialist, lost-in-the-sauce dork who can't back his arguments. They mock Vaush viciously, stating that he withdrew from the debate scene over being publicly embarrassed by Destiny repeatedly. Which brings us to Booksmarts. Towards the end of the fallout with Vaush, I heard someone whispering in Destiny's ear while he was engaging with debate opponents. This voice would either rephrase Destiny's arguments live or would do after-action reports with Destiny, breaking down miscommunications, heated moments, and phrasing. This advisor's name was Booksmarts, a gentleman who advised high-level college students on how to write academic papers for a fee. Booksmarts sold himself as an excellent communicator and started doing autopsies on frantic debates on Twitch and seemed to earnestly want to improve communication in the space. The problem, though, is that his mission is at cross paths with the Twitch and YouTube political debate space. Twitch and YouTube politics is not about talking about high-level ideas, forming understanding, building consensus, and moving productively forward. It's about ideological gladiators entering the fray and beating the shit out of their opponents rhetorically to the cheers and donations of bloodthirsty fans. This was a battleground for not just ideas, but their avatars. Improving communication would disrupt the conflict, and so Booksmart's purpose in the space was ignored, and Destiny became frustrated by rhetorical advice because it chained his language, while his opponents were free to be as uncharitable and hyperbolic as they pleased. Booksmarts became openly frustrated with Twitch and YouTube politics, basically deriding it all as pointless and terrible conversations he had to suffer through for donation money, and his unhappiness spread until he drunkenly criticized Destiny. Booksmart said that Destiny hadn't had good content in years, and his current work was unwatchable. Destiny confronted Booksmarts on stream about these statements and left no room for grace or for Booksmarts to apologize. Not only that, but he forced Booksmarts to back his argument that Destiny was rightfully banned off of Twitter and should remain so. While this didn't destroy their relationship, it was clear that Booksmarts fell out of his advisory role, and with that disenchantment, he has largely closed up shop and orbiting since. Anna Frills is perhaps the most important orbiter when it comes to drama. A psychologist in training, Anna would come on to debate panels and 1-versus-1 debates, and her pet subject was a dark triad, a personality theory on psychopathy. Destiny gravitated to her quickly, and they had a brief sexual liaison before Destiny traveled to Europe with Melina. What followed next was a years-long public and private battle that has landed Destiny with harsh criticism from even his closest friends. Anna, because of her private communications with Destiny, formed a very strong attachment. Destiny had a less strong attachment. After their liaison, Anna reached out to Destiny in an aggressive way, which Destiny and some of his friends read as her trying to usurp Destiny's wife, Melina. Anna began presumptively direct messaging Destiny about his psychology, whether or not he was a sociopath, and whether or not his poor relationships with family, friends, his wife, his orbiters, and peers was related to his high scores related to the Dark Triad. Destiny pulled further and further away, becoming detached, cold, and verbally barbed, which Anna used as further evidence of his sociopathy. That being said, Destiny would cool and thaw with their communications, leading to a hit-or-miss relationship that became the focus of days' worth of content, speculating about Anna's professional credentials, her mental health, her own perceptions of their relationship, and Destiny's promiscuous lifestyle. Orbiters and friends would critique Destiny's continued engagement with Anna, to which Destiny responded he would leave Anna alone for months at a time, but if anyone in her chat, her community, or his community brought up Destiny, she would feel the need to relitigate their relationship and her personal and professional standing. This relationship, long thought dead, was recently exposed as active by an article written by Mr. Girl, a former orbiter and very harsh critic of Destiny. This has resulted in public and private criticism of Destiny because the relationship seemed toxic to everyone not involved. At this point, Destiny could look back on his personal and professional life and see a decade of fractious relationships, public blowouts, and lost friendships. Destiny also publicly admitted that it was very easy for him to turn on and off his emotions when it came to his friends and orbiters, likely resulting in his callous dismissal of these lost relationships. This is a talent and an asset in the Twitch and YouTube political scene where every relationship is cutthroat and any debate might be your last time interacting with a peer. But Destiny admitted to himself and publicly that maybe he was part of the problem. Enter Mr. Girl. Mr. Girl is a talented hip-hop artist and provocative commentator best known for his song I Kill Pedophiles and his movie review of Cuties. Cuties was a French coming-of-age film about preteen girls struggling with operating in an adult world. Mr. Girl controversially admitted that the film creates a cognitive dissonance in which they try to portray the young girls as attractive, and he admitted that the film accomplished that goal. This was an internet flashpan moment where he received heaps of attention for all the wrong reasons, taking the better part of a year to die down. Mr. Girl, ever the confessional provocateur, has a habit of wanting to be transparent with his thoughts and emotions, regardless of how distasteful they are, and he seems to relish his critics and opponents screaming at him, but not fully knowing why they are doing that. Destiny was attracted to Mr. Girl's frankness and his willingness to be open about his darkest and most controversial thoughts. Mr. Girl's toxic reputation from the Cuties review and his provocative speech pattern and choice of subjects made him almost untouchable to anybody else. Destiny was willing and able to reach down into the cesspit and lend him a level of credence and consideration the rest of the internet was not willing to give. Destiny confided personal issues to Mr. Girl, trying to bring him in as a confidant. Destiny openly stated he was prepared for, out of an abundance of caution, for Mr. Girl to betray his trust, but also doubted it would happen because of how much of a professional risk he took in their friendship. Simultaneous to this, Lavloon, also known as Femoid, became a frequent guest on Destiny's stream. Destiny and Lav had a brief sexual liaison and friendship, but it seemed she was also interested in becoming a streamer. Lavloon, at the time, has a similar penchant to Mr. Girl to engage in provocative thought experiments and ideas, but from her conversations, while intelligent, it's clear she's not used to the debate format. In Twitch and YouTube politics, there's a de facto pattern of speech. You present an argument, people attack your argument, and as a rhetorician, you present your sub-arguments that support your original thesis. If you successfully defend your thesis and sub-arguments, people will often applaud your performance regardless of how aggressive or ugly the conversation gets. However, if you present a thesis and that thesis gets ripped to shreds, and then you move to your sub-arguments and those get ripped to shreds, you will be endlessly hounded and derided as a moron, even if you're factually correct. Because even if you are correct based on the material world or later revealed facts, you were unprepared for the conversation, you were unable to back your perspectives, and you rhetorically fell apart under pressure. While this isn't a fair system in that it doesn't always reveal truth, it is a fair system in that if you're a good performer, you'll research, back your claims, argue them confidently, and often win approval from the audience. If you're a mediocre performer, you will hit and miss, and if you're someone who doesn't understand this dynamic, you will repeatedly get your shit kicked in. Lav, despite her detractors, is intelligent and incisive, meaning that she can consume and digest complex information and come up with interesting insights. What she is not good at doing is staking out her primary claim, identifying her sub-arguments, and then forcefully arguing them. This puts her in a very weird position where the audience will cheer for her when she is saying the correct thing and viciously shred her when she isn't. Destiny's public falling out with Mr. Girl and Lav had much to do with him bringing them into contentious debates, and from Mr. Girl and Lav's perspective, setting them up for failure. Lav pointed out the dynamic to Mr. Girl that Destiny is a rhetorical gladiator, but he slants the fight in his favor through sheer size, platform, and rabid audience, and also holds court over disputes between smaller creators from which he profits. Not only that, but Destiny blurs the professional and personal lines by being flirtatious with nearly every woman in orbit and exchanging sexual communications with anyone willing. This gladiatorial dynamic, despite being popular, can have devastating social effects on the participants. Some have gone into depressive episodes or even spoken about suicide because of the public humiliation and harassment that can result. It gets even messier because Destiny spends few hours outside of his stream, leads a very public life, and has pursued friendships and sexual relationships with orbiters. A significant amount of time spent on stream is spent arguing with other parties, and Destiny does not pull punches when it comes to arguments, regardless of friendly or romantic relationships. When you see Vaush trying to slow down Destiny during the moving debate, or Trihex being obviously hurt over the N-word saga, or Anna crying because Destiny won't acknowledge their sexual relationship publicly, this does nothing to shift Destiny's positions. Now, for the crowd, this is what they love about Destiny, because he's a truth teller, a sharp, objective, analytical brain that won't be swayed by emotion. But for the orbiting admirer of Destiny who's being pummeled in a debate, it sours everything that made him attractive in the first place. Destiny's willingness to speak with smaller creators isn't a ladder to climb. It's a way for Destiny to attract vulnerable people and to destroy them for a crowd. Destiny being a retail or restaurant worker isn't some humble origin story, but a gutter he should crawl back into. Destiny being neglected by his conservative family isn't something to find empathy for, but something that has turned him into a loner sociopath. Destiny's multi-million-dollar career isn't a grizzled achievement, but a fluke of circumstance. Instead of being a rock star living the life, he's a cuck. Instead of being a charming rascal, he's a sexual predator. His audience isn't a well-built community of intelligent debate bros, but a mob of jeering autists, hell-bent on watching your destruction for their amusement. The clout Destiny has given, he can take away. The fantasy of being a well-known and loved streamer evaporates in front of you, and you're left with the humiliation of rhetorical defeat, a dozen of direct messages calling you stupid, and the knowledge in the back of your mind that thousands of people are reveling in your loss in comment sections and Reddit posts. Now, this might seem dramatic, but the truth is, we've seen people take these hits and never recover. Bad Bunny, Mike from PA, Hassan Piker, Vaush, Booksmarts, Anna Frills, Lavloon, and Mr. Girl all have sworn off speaking with Destiny or don't participate a tenth as much in his community as they used to. There are likely dozens or hundreds of other small and medium-sized debaters whose drama wasn't big enough to note, but the pattern is obvious. People are attracted to Destiny on a personal or professional level because of what he can offer them on both levels. They strike up a rapport which the other person values on a personal level. Destiny has a debate or personal disagreement with that person. Destiny does not hold back his aggressive rhetoric or feelings on the issue in spite of their professional or personal relationship. This is positively cheered on by the fans who want their pound of flesh. The Orbiter is stung personally and professionally, and they either lash out or quietly back away. Destiny community members call that person stupid via direct messages, Twitter, or Reddit. The orbiter cannot separate out the personal and the professional, what Destiny has said versus what the audience has said, and they hold Destiny personally responsible for the public humiliation and fallout. That person leaves the orbit. So, if Destiny is an aggressive debater who participates in gladiatorial matches, tips the fight in his favor, hosts bouts of combat for peers, mixes his professional streaming with his personal relationships, ignores the emotional distress of his opponents, and rips people apart rhetorically for a crowd of sadists, why, when I had a bad debate, did I not take that opportunity to attack Destiny? Well, firstly, I'm ethnically Irish, and rhetorical and physical combat is a sport for my people. I kid you not, the family reunions with my mother's side is a drunken, profanity-laced screaming match where old beefs and politics mix into a grudge match for the entertainment of onlookers. It's legitimately a part of my cultural heritage. 2. I have a life outside of streaming. I think this is particularly hard for up-and-coming streamers who fantasize about making it big, or for established streamers who know their social standing directly affects how much money they bring in. I got my ass digitally kicked in a debate. I got a few nasty DMs calling me stupid, and I was likely the butt of a few jokes on a subreddit I don't read. But when I looked up from my computer and phone, I have my wife, my kid, a kid on the way, a couple dogs, a house, and a 2-decade-long professional career that I'm proud of. So getting yelled at by the king of progressives and his simp sucks, but it doesn't change any of the most important aspects of my life. I think a lot of streamers would do well to cultivate relationships and ambitions outside of the online world to maintain a sense of balance and importance. 3. I was able to separate the personal and the professional. Online debates, while perhaps a hobby, can be a job. People make money being alternative media pundits and live very cool lives as a result. I am insanely jealous of Destiny, Vaush, Lauren Southern, and a few other personalities because they get to wake up and talk for a living. That is amazing, and I am insanely envious. That being said, Destiny and I entered the octagon, we fought, I lost, and we exited. There will be more opportunities to fight not just Destiny, but other creators with whom I want to debate, conversate, or collaborate. If the Destiny bridge burned, that would not be the end of my contribution to Twitch and YouTube politics, and I would press on no matter what, no matter how big of a shadow DGG casts over the space. Destiny, to my knowledge, doesn't hate me as a person, doesn't think I'm retarded. He's just a paid combatant in a free fire zone I entered. I do sympathize with the people who feel scorned, who counted Destiny as either a friend or a lover, because I'm sure that stings more deeply. 4. By default, I hold the audience in contempt. Now, this isn't very nice to the people who watch and enjoy my content, or who don't enjoy debating themselves, but I'm pretty confident in my professional and personal accomplishments, my intelligence, and my command of a variety of subjects. When it comes to people giving me advice on how to fight, how I should phrase things, or an esoteric piece of knowledge that they knew but I didn't, my first question to them will be if they debate publicly. If the answer is no, I will research the factual information provided, but I won't take their rhetorical advice. I'm reminded of the slightly cringe but mostly based quote. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming, but who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails daring great things, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who knew neither victory or defeat. Teddy Roosevelt. So 6, rhetoric or speech can be an art and a science. I am sure that there are plenty of people who have boiled down communication into an effective formula they use to manipulate listeners towards a desired end. But I have a different goal that is so much more free to me. I want to say what I think the way I want to say it, and I want people to contend with the content of what I've said, not the delivery. If someone has an issue with the delivery because it's too rude or too verbose, then they can go fuck themselves. They're either too mentally weak to overlook profanity or too stupid to track concepts for an extended period of time. Either way, not my problem. 7. I encourage streamers, debaters, and people who are considering doing either one of these things to enjoy the freedom of simply thinking and speaking. One of the great joys of our society is the ability to say what you want with a very low chance of state violence. Bask in that beautiful right as often and as deeply as you can, especially if what you perceive to be true makes other people upset. 8. Finally, I like to keep things in perspective for a mortal life. I served in the military and law enforcement and met many people who were killed, injured, psychologically scarred, or trapped in lives not of their choosing. It is a privilege to engage in the luxury of arguing online to the cheers and boos of thousands of people, but ultimately this planet and the galaxy and the universe will forget our rhetorical battles, and they will be deemed trivial moments in a broad, beautiful, and fucked up history. I am good with this. It gives me peace, and it gives me perspective. So in summary, if you don't already know, number 1, Destiny is attractive because he's aggressive and accessible. It's what made him famous in the first place. Just because you are able to gain access and then you receive aggression doesn't mean that the dynamic has changed. You just thought you were special. 2, Destiny mixes the personal and professional. It takes 2 to tango, and at this point, all of Destiny's messy relationships and dramas are in the open. It is fun to be friendly with Destiny, and if you're attracted to him, I'm sure he will accept some nude pictures. However, do so at your own risk, and with the full knowledge, your relationship might burn out in a beautiful and horrible spectacle. Number 3, Destiny has empathy, but not sympathy. This is an important distinction. Destiny can often articulate the pain and logic of his opponents, which is empathy, but he does not feel the vicarious pain, which is sympathy. If he can justify aggression, the pain of his opponents is not even a calculation in when he will relent. This can seem cruel, and from a Christian lens, it is. But the truth is, he's operating on an almost medieval or pagan moral system. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Something that appeals to the caveman and women in all of us. Number 4, the crowd does not just cheer, but boos. As a public figure, if you have anything of interest to say, you will not just have friends, but you will have enemies. Having enemies is deeply uncomfortable, but that is something you should meditate on and prepare for, and maybe that deserves its own video. Which means that the lesson from the above you should learn is, 1, do not engage with Destiny unless you love the sport and combat of rhetorical debate. 2, pursue things of value and ambitions outside of the online realm to maintain a sense of balance. 3, separate the personal and the professional. What did Destiny say in a debate versus what is his personal estimation of you as a human being? Also, should you even put that much stock in Destiny and his audience's opinion? Number 4, hold the audience in contempt if you are a public figure. Do not trust the opinions of men and women who do not do what you do or understand its dynamics. Trust yourself. 5, enjoy your own style and substance of rhetoric and do it for yourself. 6, keep things in perspective in your short mortal life. Arguing with internet autists should be a hobby at the worst and a fun and lucrative profession at the best. But do bear in mind your own lack of importance in our massive, beautiful, and fucked up world. So, if you like that rant, like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below, share it with some friends, post it on some subreddits, and argue about it there. Then, join the Patreon, join the Discord, and I'll catch you in the next one.